भागवतम क्लास। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवती नैष्ठिकी। हरे कृष्णा। टुडे we continuing chapter 6, conversation between Narada and Vasudeva. Shloka number 19 to 21. दिदृक्षुः ततः भूयः
इदृक्षुः तत् अहं भूयः
प्रणिधाय मनः हृदि
प्रणिधाय मनोहृदि
वीक्षमाण अपि न अपश्यम्
वीक्षमाणः अपि न अपश्यम्
वितृप्त इव आतुरः।
वितृप्त इव आतुरः।
एवं यतन्तं विजने
एवं यतन्तं विजने
मां महा अगोचरः गिराम्
माम् आह गोचर गिराम्
गम्भीरलक्षणया वाचा
गंभीरलक्षणया वाचा
शुचः प्रशमयन् इव
शुचः प्रशमयन् इव
हन्त अस्मिन् जल्मनि भवान्
हन्त अस्मिन् जन्मनि
जल्मनि
भवान्
भवान् मां द्रष्टुम् इह अर्हति
मां द्रष्टुम् इह अर्हति।
अविपक्व कषायाणाम्
अविपक्वकषायाणाम्
दुर्दर्शः अयं कुयोगिनाम्
दुर्दर्शः अहं कुयोगिनाम्
दिदृक्षु तत् अहं भूयः
विदृक्षः तद् अहं भूयः
प्रणिधाय मनः हृदि
प्रणिधाय मनः हृदि
वीक्षमाण अपि न अपश्यम्
वीक्षमाणः अपि न अपश्यम्
वितृप्त इव आतुरः।
अवितृप्त इव आतुरः।
एवं यतन्तं विजने
एवं
माम्
यत एवं यतन्तं विजने माम् आह
गोचरः गिराम्
अगोचरः गिराम्
गम्भीरलक्षणया वाचा
गंभीरलक्षणया वाचा
शुचः प्रशमयन् इव
शुचः प्रशमयन् इव
हन्त अस्मिन् जल्मनि भवान्
हन्त अस्मिन् जन्मनि भवान्
मां द्रष्टुम् इह अर्हति।
मां द्रष्टुम् इह अर्हति।
हन्ता हन्ता अस्मिन् जल्मनि भवान् मां द्रष्टुम् इह अर्हति। अविपक्व कषायाणाम्
अविपक्व अविपक्वकषायाणाम्
दुर्दर्श अहं कुयोगिनाम्।
दुर्दर्शः अहं कुयोगिनाम्
प्लीज
दिदृक्षः
रीड।
तद् अहं भूयः प्रानिधाय मनः हृदि वीक्षमाण अपि न पश्यम् वितृप्त इव आतुरः। एवं यतन्तं विजने माम् अगचरः गिराम् गम्भीरश्लक्षणाया वाचा शुचः प्रशमयन् इव हन्तम् अस्मिन् जन्मनि भवान् मां द्रष्टुम् इह अर्हति। अविपक्वकषायाणां दुर्दर्शः अहं कुयोगिनाम्। श्रीधा
गायत्री
जी।
माता जी प्लीज रीड।
यस माता जी। दिद दिदक्षुस्तदहं भूयः प्राणिधाय मनोहृदि वीक्षमाणोऽपि नापश्यं वितृप्त इवातुरः। एवं यतन्तं विजनो महागोचरो गिरां गंभीर लक्ष्य न्या
श्लक्षणाय
लक्षाच्या
लक्षण्या
श्लक्षणाय
क्ष्यलक्षणया वाचा सूचः प्रशमयन्नीव हन्तस्मिन् जन्मनि भवान् मां द्रष्टुम् इहार्हति अविपक्व कषायानां दूर्दशोऽहं कुयोगिनाम्.
श्रीधर प्रभुजी प्लीज रीड.
हरे कृष्ण. दिदृशिष्टम् अहं भूय प्रणिताय मनोहृति वीक्षमाणोऽभिनावस्तम् अभिवृद्ध इवाधुरः एवं यदन्तं विजने माम् आहा कोशरोग्राम गंभीरश्लक्ष्णया वासा सुच प्रचमानिवः हन्तस्मान् जन्मनि भवान् मां द्रष्टुम् इहार्हति अविभक्त कषायानां दुर्दशो हम कुयोगिनां.
डॉक्टर कर्पगौली माताजी.
कर्पगौली माताजी.
ये माताजी नंदनम दिदक्षुताम् अहं भूयोया प्रणिधाय मनोहृदि वीक्षमाणो अपि नापयासम् अभितृप्ति इव तृह एवं यायन्तं माम् अगोचरो गिरं गंभीर लक्षण वाचा सूचः प्रसन्नमयान् इव हन्तयास्मिन् जन्मानि भवान् मां दृष्टुम् इहार्हति अविपाक्य कषायानां दुर्दशोऽहं कुयोगिनाम्. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please read Gayatri Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, yes. 19. From 19, am I supposed to read?
Yes, 19 to 21.
Okay. I desired to see again the transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him anymore, and thus dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved. Seeing my attempts in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief. O Narada, the Lord spoke, I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me.
The Srila
Purport.
Prabhupada.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, in the text that I'm having, the purport is slightly different. Should I read that?
No.
There is no
Yes.
mechanical process to see the form of the Lord. It completely depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord. We cannot demand the Lord to be present before our vision, just as we cannot demand the sun to rise whenever we like. The sun rises out of his own accord. So also the Lord is pleased to be present out of his causeless mercy. One should simply await the opportune moment and go on discharging his prescribed duty in devotional service to the Lord. Narad Muni was successful in the first attempt, but in spite of his utmost endeavor, he could not make the second attempt successful. The Lord is completely independent of all obligations. He can simply be bound up by the tie of unalloyed devotion, nor is he visible or perceivable by our material senses. When he pleases, being satisfied with the sincere attempt of devotional service, depending completely on the mercy of the Lord, then he may be seen out of his own accord. Please continue.
In the Vedas, it is said that God is beyond the approach of mundane words and intelligence. And yet by his causeless mercy, one can have suitable senses to hear him or to speak to him. This is Lord's inconceivable energy. One upon whom his mercy is bestowed can hear him The Lord was much pleased with Narada Muni, and therefore the necessary strength was invested in him so that he could hear the Lord. It is not, however, possible for others to pursue directly the touch of the Lord during the probationary stage of regulative devotional service. It was a special gift for Narada. When he heard the pleasing words of the Lord, the feelings of separation were to some extent mitigated. A devotee in love with God feels always the pangs of separation and is therefore always enwrapped in transcendental ecstasy. The personality of Godhead is
Personality
described
of
in the Bhagavad
Godhead
Gita.
is described in the Bhagavad Gita as the most pure, the supreme, and the absolute truth. There is no trace of a tinge of materiality in his person, and thus one who has the slightest tinge of material affection cannot approach him. The beginning of devotional service starts when one is freed from at least two forms of material modes, namely the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. The result is exhibited by the signs of being freed from kama and lobha. That is to say, one must be freed from the desire for sense satisfaction and avarice for sense gratification. The balanced mode of nature is goodness. And to be completely freed from all material tinges is to become free from the mode of goodness also. To search the audience of God is alone in a lonely forest is considered to be in the mode of goodness. One can go out into the forest to attain spiritual perfection, but that does not mean that one can see the Lord personally there. One must be completely freed from all material attachment and be situated on the plane of transcendence, which alone will help the devotee get in personal touch with the personality of Godhead. The best method is that one should live at a place where the transcendental form of the Lord is worshipped. The temple of the Lord is a transcendental place, whereas the forest is a materially good habitation. A neophyte devotee is always recommended to worship the deity of Lord Archana rather than go into the forests to search out the Lord. Devotional service begins from the process of Archana, which is better than going out in the forest. In this, his present life, which is completely freed from all material hankerings, Sri Narad Muni does not go into the forest, although he can turn every place into Vaikuntha by his presence only. He travels from one planet to another to convert men, gods, kinnaras, gandharvas, rishis, munis, and all others to become devotees of the Lord. By his activities, he has engaged many devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, and many others in the transcendental service of the Lord. A pure devotee of the Lord therefore follows in the footsteps of great devotees like Narada and Prahlada and engages his whole time in glorifying the Lord by the process of Kirtana. Such a preaching process is transcendental to all material qualities. Hare Krishna.
ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवान् च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण। Once again, obeisance to all your lotus feet. Prabhuji will tell us in detail which described in shloka number 19 and 20 and 21. That is describing about completely the service, which service we should took and to whom we surrender. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much for a wonderful association, all of you devotees. So we are seeing that Narad Muni, because the Lord all of a suddenly disappeared, he had got up, was agitated, he was not knowing what to do. He wanted to see the transcendental form of the Lord again. I want again, I want again. He was craving for the Lord. He thought, let me repeat whatever I did till now. So he attempted to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the Lord's form again. But he could not see him anymore. And so he felt a lot of dissatisfaction. He was aggrieved. Because the mechanical effort which he was trying had failed. So indirectly, Krishna wanted to tell that such mechanical efforts don't fail. But then he was seeing the attempt of Narad Muni in that lonely place. And so he spoke with gravity and pleasing words so that the grief at least can be mitigated. And he informed that during the current lifetime, that is the past lifetime of Narada, he would not be able to see Krishna anymore. And he also gave the reason, which is an important learning for us, that if we are incomplete in service or we are not completely free from material taints, then no one can see Krishna. So let us understand one by one what all we are getting here. One, the mechanical processes to see the Lord fail. No one can see the Lord by a particular mechanical process of closing eyes, concentrating upon the heart, or doing anything like that. Whether we see Lord, whether we interact with Lord or not, it depends on the mercy of the Lord. If and only if we get the mercy of the Lord, we can interact with Him. We cannot order Lord, oh, please come before me. So the analogy which is given is that of a sun. The sun rises as per his desire. We cannot tell the sun, oh sun, you rise from north today. No, the sun rises of his own accord. So similarly, only if Lord is pleased, he will be present in front of us out of his causeless mercy and not depending upon our orders. So what is required that we have patience. We have to simply await the opportune moment and go on discharging our prescribed duties in devotional service of the Lord. Because Krishna can be tied up with devotion, unalloyed devotion only. Very soon Kartik month is coming and we'll be all singing Damodarashtakam. And the Damodar Leela is the perfect example that comes of how Krishna can be bound by devotion only. When as a mother to chastise the child, Yashodamaya tried to bound Krishna, always the rope would be minimum 2 fingers short. She brought all the ropes that were available, tied them together and tried to tie Krishna, and again 2 fingers short. She went here, there, helter-skelter, brought ropes, kept on trying, but never succeeded. Always 2 fingers short. And she was tired. And then she said, oh Lalla, what magic are you doing? Why are you not getting tied up? So that was a devotional request. The first finger. And then the mercy of the Lord, the second finger. Immediately Krishna showered mercy and the rope could be tied up. So we have to have an alloyed devotion to Krishna. Full surrenderance, Purna Sharanagati. Because that is what Krishna has ordered us in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. The ma word comes even in today's shloka. Ma means don't worry, don't, no. So we require mercy of Krishna. And when we will give mercy, when we follow his instruction. Because the material senses, we cannot perceive Krishna, nor see him. So what Krishna does is, when he is pleased, when he is satisfied, when he sees our sincere attempts of devotional service, then out of mercy, he will give us the opportunity to see him. Remember Bhagavad Gita? When Arjuna requested, he wanted to see his Virat form, that time Krishna gave him the special vision by which he could see the Virat form. But then he was perturbed by seeing that form, the universal form, and he immediately requested him to come back to his two-handed Govinda Swarup. But then that special vision is something which Krishna gives. Krishna is beyond our approach if we try to approach him with mundane words and intelligence. So what is required is suitable senses to hear him, to speak to him. And this is the Lord's inconceivable energy. When he gives us those particular perfections out of his causeless mercy. So one upon whom his mercy is bestowed, he can hear him. So Lord was pleased with Narad Muni, and therefore the necessary strength was invested in him so that he could hear the Lord's message. And as soon as he heard the Lord's pleasing words, his feelings of separation were mitigated. A devotee is always feeling the separation with Lord, especially a devotee in love with God. And therefore, as soon as he is seeing or interacting with God, he feels transcendental ecstasy. Krishna is described, whether we talk of, say, Bhagavad Gita or any of the scriptures, as Shuddhatama, most pure, and Parama, supreme, and Satya, the absolute truth. So, for that to be learned, we need to overcome our material inhibition. Prabhupada ji gives us the path as well to do it. He says that the devotional service will start when we will be freed from the two modes of material nature, which are mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Because they are the ones which are the most bonded ones. And as soon as we are able to overcome them, what happens is we are freed from kama, lust, and lover, covetousness. So we don't desire anything. We don't have lust for anything. We are freed from the desires of self-satisfaction and avarice for self-gratification, which are the basic minimum criteria. And that is the beginning of devotional service. Till that time, it is preparation. So someone who says, I have been in the sadhana bhakti for 2 decades, but if you still have any love for your children or anything, that your children will do anything or you will get something, then your bhakti has not started yet. So to be completely freed from material tinges is to become free from mode of goodness also. So in earlier ages, it is to be considered that going to the forest alone is in mode of goodness. Because then it indicates that you are freed from the material attachments and you have come to the stage of transcendence. And it's only when we reach this plane of transcendence that we will be able to have a personal touch with personality of Godhead. But then in current ages, it is not possible. The best method is that we should live at a place where the transcendental form of the Lord is worshipped. The temple. The temple of the Lord is a transcendental place, whereas the forest is materially good habitation. And that is why Prabhupada ji used to mandate that devotees should gather compulsorily for the morning program in the temple. Mangalarti, chanting, Bhagavatam, Prasadam. It was a mandate. Because then you are coming to a transcendental place. And if you can stay nearby temple, then that is the best. In fact, a neophyte devotee is always recommended to worship the deity of the Lord, Archana, rather than going to the forest to search for the Lord. It is said that devotional service begins from the process of Archana, which is better than going out in the forest. And that is why we should take it up very seriously. Especially, it is a mandate for the Grihasthas to have Archa Vigrahas in their home and serve them daily. It brings about the necessary purificatory changes in our life. Narad Muni, he got purified, he got the birth as a Narad Muni, and with his association, he can turn any place into Vaikuntha because he is freed from all material hang. But what does he do? He does not go to forest. He travels from one place to another and converts men, gods, kinnaras, gandharvas, rishis, munis, even daityas to become devotees of the Lord. Just look at the list of the persons he has converted and guided. Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, so many persons. And he has ensured that all of them get into the transcendental service of the Lord. So a pure devotee, therefore, always follows in the footsteps of Narad, Prahlad, the Guru Parampara, and engage the whole time in glorifying the Lord by kirtana. Such process is transcendental to material qualities. And this is something which is recommended even by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Had asked us, "Tare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh." So it is very necessary that we all come together every day early morning, do the Mangal Aarti, do the Tulsi Aarti, do the chanting, do the Shringar Aarti, read Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, then have prasadam and then proceed with our material activities in the day. And again in the evening, come back for Sandhya Aarti followed by Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita class, chanting, and then retiring for the day. Hare Krishna.